Aloha. My name is Moanikeala, Akaka. A handful of us started the Hawaiian Movement for Justice 44 years ago on Oahu at a place called Kalama Valley. That was the beginning of Hawaiians and local people looking around at the situation in our islands and beginning to question the direction Hawaii was going in, and as to whether or not it was really in the best interest of we, the Kanaka Maoli, the first people of this land, the people who got their country stolen.
One of the kupuna from Miloli'i had said, if not for Kalama Valley, there would be no Aloliki and no Oha.
We also, Labor Day 78, we closed the Hilo Airport runway because we were the landlords come to collect the rent. You of the Department of Interior did not collect rent for this airport. Waimea, Molokai, and Hilo Airport. We had to risk our lives on the Hilo Airport runway. 58 of us were arrested. After we closed down the Hilo Airport runway, 50 of us showed up at the State Building in Hilo, raising questions about the ceded lands, the seized lands. The income from those lands at that time was going only to the Department of was going only to the Department of Education. And in fact, it was Dante Carpenter who reminded the people of Hilo, I'd forgotten myself, some years later, that it was because we showed up at the State Building that the state all of a sudden began to delineate 20% of those resources to go to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Of course, after I became a trustee, to find out that we were only receiving 1.5% of that 20% owed. $500,000 a year started coming into the Department of Hawaiian Homelands because we were at the Hilo Airport runway. That was your job, Department of Interior, to collect that rent.
I negotiated for over 5 years for the state settlement that OHA receives with the Waihe'e and later the Cayetano administration. In 1990, it was $138 million plus $15 million a year. Land was supposed to be a part of that settlement, not just dollars. Aina is so important. I was also a founder of Kalahui and a legislator of Kalahui. And when we put together Kalahui, Mililani Trask had wanted me to be lieutenant governor. But Frenchie DeSoto, who was a trustee at that time as well, said, no, you've got to make a choice, either Kalahui or the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. As I was a trustee for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs for 12 years. And no way was I going to give up being trustee for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. I'm really glad that the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is very concerned and hopefully is reestablishing a vehicle so that our people can get together and move forward to Ho'ohulu Lahui, to raise the Hawaiian nation. I was part of the coalition that was in existence for several years. Many people came together and shared mana'o. OHA, we should not reinvent the wheel. OHA should go over some of these proceedings and take some of the positive that came of it and utilize it.
It's important that these questions are raised, and it's very important that we get an answer. Period. Before we continue this process of nation building. And to be honest with you, I was disturbed when hearing that if this is true, Trustee Cole was saying that, well, we have spent so much money on nation building, let the people do it themselves. Are you kidding? That's our money you're spending. It costs money to get people to gather together. You can't swim across the ocean inter-island. There are no canoes, hopefully as going out to the world, go back and forth between the islands so that we can communicate with each other and so that we can do our nation building that's so necessary. You say that you are facilitating nation building. Well, it looks to me in a lot of instances, including a recent trip to Washington, D.C., that you're actually steering the canoe towards nation building. And that's no good. That's not fair. Also, I'm concerned because the delegates that you have proposed, you have no right to propose how many delegates should be a part of the Constitutional Convention. Shouldn't that come from the people? Yes. My daughter is named Ho'oululahui, and the kupuna named her that for good reason. And it's up to you to help us facilitate nation building. We need more time for education before any vote is taken. I'm sure you don't want to have an ignorant populace making this decision. Are people voting blindly? That's not fair, and you know it. I did sign for the roll the day before under duress because I felt it was necessary. But I did it under duress. And a lot of people are acting like I'm a traitor for doing it. But I'd rather be in that Constitutional Convention, making sure that our people get as much as they can instead of throwing rocks from the outside.
The coalition meetings recorded, filmed by OHA. Much was spent by OHA, and recommendations were made from the community. Yet OHA archives have no record of the 3 years of these meetings. Why keep reinventing the wheel when we are doing, which is what we're doing now, as we are doing now? When a woman was elected head of the Hawaiian coalition that was pro-independence, OHA cut the funding.
The fellow there earlier was talking about programs to be able to help the community, programs to be able to help our people. Well, that is what part of what the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is supposed to be doing, and unfortunately they're not. However, when this Na'iaupuni, when this new nation gets set up, OHA will be dissolved, and all the assets and revenues that we help to negotiate will go to this nation.
In conclusion, I was told that House Bill 2046 hearing on Friday was really the Department of Interior rules proceeding to the state legislature, taking DLNR ceded Aina, our Aina, trust lands, and transferring them to the feds for military use. It was deferred just before the hearing. Representative Yamani said because of the wording, and the AG said it was unconstitutional. We must maka'ala. We snooze, we lose. Our responsibilities are too great, and if we cannot come up with a constitution in the next 2 weeks that really fulfills the needs of our people and our Aina for generations to come, we should go to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and request more money to continue this at some later date in the near future. After all, if they can spend millions and millions of dollars through the years just registering people for nationhood, we can sure as heck get more funding from the Office of Hawaiian Affairs so that we can give our people the justice they rightfully deserve and have been deserving for more than the past 100 years. Aloha Aina, take care of the Aina and the people. If OHA were doing that, people would love OHA instead of have misgivings. Mahalo nui loa. My name is Moanikeala Akaka. Federal government doesn't recognize your government. How would you negotiate with them as a government? Well, we're here, and history says we were illegally overthrown. We have President Clinton's apology. However, we had an apology and nothing more, but that's still that's still to be counted. And we've had many programs for the Native Hawaiian community through the years, which means an acknowledgement on the part of the U.S. government that they owe us something. You know, this proceeding was not paid for by tax money. It was paid for by Hawaiian money that was negotiated from the ceded lands resources. We got a lousy 20%, the state got 80%, and it is not because of our cocoa, but it's because it's a political issue because our country was stolen.
Our islands are some of the most pristine Aina in the world. Yet a quarter of Oahu is used by the military. 1/8 of this island will be for Pohakaloa. And we have sites left over since the Second World War. Over at Waikoloa, they say at $10 million a year, it will take 60 years to remove the munitions that they have had here from the Second World War. We find over in Waimea schoolyard, they find grenades. Every so often, within the past few months ago, they had to close Hapuna Beach for 10 days because they had munitions that they had to detonate. So nobody could go in and swim. The military has been bad stewards. Send them to do their training on some desert on the mainland.
We in Hawaii don't want to be the dumping ground for the Pacific, for the America's military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower warned us about. Over 100,000 acres of our ceded lands at Pohakaloa are programmed to be the premier military training facility of the Pacific, destroying our historical, cultural sites and our environment. We want you out of here when that lease is up and you have to clean up your military garbage on your way out. The lease from 1965 was for only $1, period. That is disgusting. And not only that, but on his way out, Colonel Swedo over at Pohakaloa 2 weeks ago said to the incoming commander,
when you're getting ready to do something and you know it's the right thing to do, drive it like you stole it.
When you want to do something and you know it's the right thing to do, drive it like you stole it, he said. Don't let anyone tell you no. How do you like that? Yes, you not only stole Pohakaloa, but all of our islands. But look at the audacity of this commander. Drive it like you stole it, when you really did steal it.
A map of our island. Now what you're proposing is the size of 4 kaho'olaves. 4 kaho'olaves. That's the space that the Pohakaloa and the improvements and the expansion that you're referring to will do. Now, one thing you're supposed to be doing and that you agreed to is that the cultural monitor reports should go from the cultural monitor, who's there every day, she writes a report, to you and then to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. To this day, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs has not received one cultural monitor report. You folks take us Hawaiians cheaply. Bad enough you're here, you're occupying our islands, you're occupying the middle of this island, Pohakaloa, but the agreements that you have made relating to the cultural monitoring reports, you could give a rip about those getting to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, where you agreed that they will go to.
I've talked to cultural monitors that have driven through Pohakaloa and could see artifacts sticking out of the caves. That kind of desecration, is sacrilegious.
We need the kokua of not only our sovereign nation to be, but the Office of Hawaiian Affairs relating to the military expansion.
Kamakakoi, the film is a very positive addition. However, we need more help relating to Pohakaloa.
this is another update. So I have been with Colonel Whitney. He's the Army Commander for Schofield as well as Papua, as well as the Marine Commander for Kaneohe Marine Corps Air Base. Our staff are looking at the Section 106 Department of Defense consultative process. There are some legalities that the military have some exemptions. So we need to change that at the federal level. But I have asked them that they come report to Hawaii community.
Well, you know, I wanted to add that Kalani Flores was kicked off of the Military Cultural Committee because he was in that film. Now, everything that he said in that film was you know, excellent. You know, and we shouldn't have that kind of retribution, him exercising his constitutional rights while they're bombing the hell out of our Puhakaloa. You know, and also, you know, you guys better watch out. Don't let the military use you. When you meet with the military, have some of us guys in the community over there too, you know, that are knowledgeable about what's happening up there and that live on this island. So we, you know, so that you're not alone, and so that we can help you hold them accountable. But don't let the military use you, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. And we snooze, we lose. To have our own people who are supposed to be advocates for us being used by the military against the community is not pono at all.
You know, at Makua, the judge said they found Evie there. The judge stopped the live fire training. 2 years later, the judge says, well, they still have not, you know, they still have not done what they're supposed to do relating to the EV, so they cannot have live fire training. Well, they are finding EV on Pohakaloa. You know, the EV and the Aina can't speak for itself.
Target identified.
We have the county council's resolution in 2008 saying that there should be an unbiased report, an unbiased study, an independent study relating to Pohakaloa and the depleted uranium, and nothing has been done about this study.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. I'll hold it there.
How's it going?
Good.
But basically, the point, when I talked to Aaron a month or two ago about the uranium showing up in some people's urine, he said, I'm going to see Gary Gill next month. Next month, I'll talk to him about it. Just when I heard those words, next month, I was insulted by it.
I am so proud of these young people and the movement that has been created because of Mauna Avakea. And, you know, I have been supportive of those who have been working to preserve Moanikeala for a number of decades. However, you know, it wasn't until they were ignoring all of these court cases, they were ignoring for all of these years. I'm saying the status quo was, in spite of the fact that TMT has been saying continuously, we have had hearings for 7 years, they have had the opportunity. Well, that's all a bunch of shabai. Because they have been ignoring the court cases, they have been ignoring those who have fought against the different telescopes that they were putting up on Mauna Kea, including the TMT.
Trespassing, you're not allowed in here. You're in breach of international law.
do it in Mount Fuji. Go do it in China. Go do it in India.
Your violence and protest of this mountain, the people of Aina.
Hey, hold the flag upside down sometimes.
You guys owe us money. It's over $1 trillion of damage here.
We got enough telescopes up here already.
You have damaged our land. Over $1 trillion worth.
Hey, you wanna leave?
Know that?
No need jail.
Hey, they're using it against us. Yeah, that's what got us in this trouble in the first place. Spirit of Aloha. Go someplace else.
Mahalo ya opo apaw.
Go to your side. I know you're
Anybody. Aloha.
I know you're part of too. Yeah. And we're sick and tired of it. Aloha.
This is a rent in progress. That's what this is. This is an ethnocide in progress.
No question about it.
Take that home when you go home from vacation. You're committing ethnocide.
Yeah, you tell them that when you go back to Japan too.
This is a crime in progress.
Go build on Fujiyama. Yeah, you wouldn't dare allow that happening up there, but it's okay to come to our sacred mountain. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves, Japanese. Aloha.
The Swedes. This is Swedes. Yeah.
So officers, do you want to turn around?
They get drugs and alcohol. They get legal pharmaceuticals and alcohol.
Loving alcohol. I can't because I have a hard time getting up. Sit down. It's interesting. Okay, you guys are from Switzerland. They will put us in word. They will send us back to the nation. Switzerland is neutral. They can go there. Switzerland is neutral. They can go there. Hey, send some money to the movement. Hey, tell them our people are strangers at their own.
All you gotta do is go get the track of the court. All the evidence of the war crime.
Show us your paperwork.
However, it wasn't until, people started getting arrested on Moanikeala that things that they have begun to take seriously this whole situation. As if we're criminals.
You do not consent.
I don't consent.
I do not consent. You have, no, everyone thinks I'm that singer. I'm not very good.
Yeah, from those slides on the gravel.
Jeez, we're here in the spirit of peace at Aloha and you handcuff us? What? You don't have to. Nobody's going to attack you. You're the ones that are attacking us. Shameful. Shameful. I'm 70 years old. And you're handcuffing me like I'm a criminal. And all these others. There's no reason to handcuff people. We're here in the spirit of peace at Aloha and Aloha Aina.
You have a message for everybody out there?
Yeah, I sure do.
Support Aloha Aina.
Aloha Aina.
Shut down.
Come up here and help support. Help us save the Aina for the present and future generations. This is disgusting, them handcuffing us like we're criminals. And here we are to protect this Aina. Shame! And this is ceded lands, Hawaiian Seas land. And look, they treat us like criminals. Shame, you guys. We're here in the spirit of peace at Aloha, and you're treating us like we're a bunch of criminals. Handcuffing us like...
For the record, I'll provide Spencer copy with his home plate in anticipation of a request for bail refund. She does not appear to have any convictions for contempt of court.
Activism can help justice. As an example, Moanikeala arrests led to the Supreme Court bypassing the lower courts ruling in our favor. Before that, the Moanikeala suits were languishing in the courts for years and years. Our being arrested is what helped the Supreme Court make that decision.
And I am very, very proud of the young ones. To be honest with you, I'm 71 years old. And there are those of us that have been a little concerned, you know, because a lot of us that have been involved have had gray hair. And we've been concerned because we've been asking, where are the young ones? And Mauna Abakea has proven, you know, all of you young people that have stood up and be counted and for Mauna Abakea, you know, it is to be proud of. And I am very, very proud of all of you. And of course, it should also be remembered that of those, the first 12 that got arrested on Mauna Abakea, the average age was 53 years old. And you know, I'm glad to say as well. But during Mary Monarch, they had lines of people picketing in front of Suisan. And I was going up shortly after we got arrested, and I was thanking a number of these many, many young people and many young Hawaiians. And I was walking by and thanking them for being there and asking, how was it that you heard about this? And so many of them were saying Facebook, Instagram.
Save Moanikeala! Save Moanikeala!
And you know, that is what has helped spread the word, not just throughout these islands, but nationally and internationally.
Technology, they're pulling up the roots of our ancestry, standing in the midst of it now, breaking Hawaii people unite. The love for Aina is what we found. Please don't tear up our sacred ground. This is our home and we're here to stay.
During Mary Monarch, there was this Tongan woman whose husband was carving jewelry at the Mary Monarch, and I was talking story with her, and she showed me a picture of a family in Tonga with their Mauna Kea signs to save Mauna Kea in Tonga, in a very, very rural community in Tonga. So it has spread all over the world, nationally and internationally, and it's wonderful.
But take us away.
On Mary Monarch Parade, we're having an Aloha Aina contingency in the Mary Monarch Parade. Please join us 9:30 in front of Kamehameha statue. You know, there's a lot of concern. The gentleman had raised questions related to Po'akaloa. There's Mauna Kea. You know, there's some that are concerned about GMOs. You know, please join us in the spirit of peace and aloha for this, the Mary Monarch Aloha Aina contingency. Supreme Court was picking this up, I thought about the super ferry. The Supreme Court killed the super ferry. And my thought was, the Supreme Court can do that again with the TMT. They always use the carrot stick of jobs. They always use that. Whether it to be build a hotel on the only open beach in the area, or the TMT. You know, they always say, well, jobs, we need all these construction jobs. Well, hopefully, the Supreme Court will address this issue in the right way. And I'll tell you, if they don't, there's going to be an avalanche of people going up to Moanikeala to help defend her.
Aloha, my name is Moanikeala, Akaka. I was one of those, 25, 30 years ago when we started the whole geothermal issue. My daughter at the time was 14 years old. She's now almost 40. So this has been going on for a long time. She, as we're going up to Moanikeala,
Excuse me, Moani, where
yes.
do you live?
I'm sorry, I live in Hilo.
Thank you.
Although we're property owners in Puna as well. She, at the time, we were on our way to Moanikeala, and at 14, she said to me, well, Ma, I want to get arrested too. And I said, well, wait a minute, she's 14. And I said, well, if anybody asks you, because I wouldn't want them to think that her mother pushed her into this situation. I said, well, if anyone asks you, what will you say? She said, well, Ma, it's our future too. And with that answer, it was all right with me that she took a stand on the Aina for the present and future generations. As I said, now she's 40 and a mother of an 8-year-old. You know, there's always been concern. At that time, we had a fellow named Marco Notrica, who had his master's degree from Harvard in toxicology, who wrote a study on the detrimental effects of hydrogen sulfide poisoning. Now, this has been going on for over 25, 30 years, and there's still that concern about hydrogen sulfide poisoning and the health of those who are impacted in the area. But how about Native Hawaiians, whose Aina this is, who end up being strangers in our own homeland? And, you know, this whole issue keeps getting swept under the rug.
Relating to geothermal, you know, people are living on the Big Island by choice, on the neighbor islands. You know, we do not want the neighbor islands, we do not want the Big Island to be industrialized for Oahu's electric lights. Each island should take care of their own energy. You know, it is stupidity to bleed the neighbor islands for Oahu's electric lights while they go and build houses on the best agricultural land on Oahu, which they could be utilizing to feed the people of Oahu.
There's no question about the impacts of geothermal development to the health and safety of our Native Hawaiian community and the community at large. So enough is enough. This has been going on for too long. As a trustee of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, I was when these revenues first came to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, out of principle, you know, I was not for it.
First, it's probably a veteran for all of us in the movement and way before, going back to the Kalama Valley days. Her name is Moanikeala Akaka.
Aloha. It's so good to be here and to see you here at this momentous time when we're drawn together to think about George and Kimo, our brothers who aren't here physically, but they're here watching. In the beginning of the Kaho'olawe struggle, it was people like Auntie Edith Kanakaole, whom, when they first made their first landing, Emmett came over to the Big Island, and we took him over to Auntie Edith's class, and he shared the mana'o, and she began to see and understand what Kaho'olawe was all about, even in those beginnings. She gave us the name Ohana from Auntie Edith. She also gave us the name Kihapai Olono. Auntie Edith wanted the island of Kaho'olawe to be used as a living, educational experience for our people of the Aina. A place where we could take refuge spiritually, a place where we could learn about our culture, about what the kupuna of old have left for us through the artifacts that that island is laden with. You know, Kaho'olawe is our church. We don't bomb Plymouth Rock. Why do they bomb our Aina? Kohema, Lama Lama, U, Kanaloa. They desecrate and destroy our Aina. We're only allowed to go there a few days out of every month for 10 months out of the year. The day we leave, we cry because we know the next day they'll be bombing her again. How long more will this continue to happen? And now, what with the RIMPAC maneuvers coming up, it's not just the US Navy that's desecrating our Aina, but it's going to be Japan, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, as well as France, all having a gangbang on our Aina o Kaho'olawe. When will these insults and these insults to our land and to our culture and to our religion going to stop? 5 years since George and Chemo disappeared, and still they continue to bomb. Let not their lives have been lost in vain. It is our responsibility to stop the bombing on that Aina once and for all. In the name of peace for all of humanity, we must stop not only the RIMPAC maneuvers, but we must stop the desecration of our Aina completely. How can the people of Hawaii sit back and watch the destruction continue year after year after year? Enough is enough. It is up to us. It is for our children. It is for the future generations. We of the Ohana work in our different struggles on our different islands throughout the state. We are bonded together because of our concern for the Aina, because of concern for the needs of our people. We of the Ohana are doing things that even the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and Aluliki with all their money are not doing for our people o Hawaii. And we are doing it with our hopes. We are doing it without any money. We're doing it because we have no other choice but to fight. And we have no other choice but to continue to fight. And as Pua's daughter, Puana, said to the head man of the Navy that's on Kaho'olawe, the EOD guy, as she, the 9-year-old Puana, said to him, you know, when I get big, I'm going to fight you just like my mama did. That's what she said. And this is the kind of spirit that we must raise our keikis with. Because if we don't, the conditions for our people will deteriorate more and more and more. It is up to us. We have no choice. In spite of the fact that sometimes we feel that we're all alone in fighting for the justice for our people, we must continue to persevere. We must continue to push forward and pukaturu, like Emmett says, because if we don't, there'll be no hope. If we don't, it'll be worse for the keikis, for the mo'opuna. So please, tell your friends, your ohana, your neighbors from all over, support the ohana. The ohana is for justice. We're for stopping the bombing on our Aina, and we're also for saving our Ainas and for helping our people, regardless of what their problems are, throughout this state. Ma'alama pono, o mau ke'ea o ka Aina ikapuno. Please, kokua. Mahalo.
This is the woman, by the way, who led the whole Hilo airport demonstration, yeah? 3.5 years ago. Moanikeala, Akaka.
For those who say this should not be our fight, there's a parallel battle that is still unsettling. Kaho'olawe. For years, it was known as the Target Isle, bombed and desecrated in the name of national defense. In the beginning, only a handful had the courage and the outrage to speak up in the face of overwhelming opposition, even from the Hawaiian community. Not our kuleana, many said. Don't interfere with the military's ability to do its job. Almost everyone thought it was an unwinnable fight.
But they stood up for what they knew in their hearts was right, was truthful. That these sacred places of our islands are being destroyed. And you cannot just sit around or just stay in silence. You have to speak up.
Kaho'olawe, we finally stopped the bombing on. But Pohakaloa, you know, there are people living on this island, and they don't seem to have any regard at all for the health and safety of the people of this island.
You have been poor stewards of our people, of our land, and our people, America. We are not an Indian tribe, though we have much respect for our brothers and sisters in Indian country. What happened to the billions of dollars you were supposed to be holding in trust for decades for those native tribes? Your record in treatment of native peoples is deplorable. We, the people of Aloha, deserve better. Enough is enough. Mahalo.
You know, so we really need to move on and to ho'olulahui, to set up our Hawaiian nation, and to be able to help our people go forward. There are many of our people are struggling to get by on a daily level. Many poor people in the Hawaiian community. And it is up to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, as well as our Hawaiian nation, to truly uplift the Hawaiian people. Mahalo.
So we cannot leave here without doing Warrior Rising for Auntie. You know, gotta stand up for that one. Goro said. You know, I remember that day. I remember the day Auntie Moani got arrested. And it was the same day with Uncle Craig and plenty of the other Aloha Aina that have come before us. Always have a beautiful space for Auntie Moani in my heart. When I think of strength and I think of courage, I think of her. And when I think of the people who teach us how to be warriors rising, I think of Auntie Moani. And so this song is for you, Auntie. We'll see you on the Mauna.
Carrying my mountain in my soul. and I am a warrior, warrior rising, spreading my message